If you watched the men's street final of the Olympics, I want to know, did you enjoy it? Like, was it fun for you to watch? Let me know why or why not in the comments below. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. So on Saturday, we saw the Olympic debut of skateboarding with YUTO Horigome taking home the gold medal. What's really cool about YUTO winning is that he was in front of all of his family and friends in Tokyo, which is where he's from, but specifically the course was built in the area, in the neighborhood of Tokyo where YUTO grew up. So really just like a fairy tale ending for YUTO Horigome. So congratulations to him, and really happy that he gets to have that moment. But for Nyjah, on the other hand, things could not have gone much worse. I think a lot of us thought that it was kind of a foregone conclusion that Nyjah Huston was going to win Olympic gold. It just made sense that Nyjah would be the one winning gold for the first Olympic skateboarding event. He's been so dominant for so long, and regardless of what any of us thought, that's definitely not how it played out. So today I'm going to give you my thoughts on why YUTO won and why Nyjah lost. First, if you do like these kind of videos, go ahead and like and subscribe. That way YouTube will recommend more of my videos to you. I make 6 each week, so you can hit the notification bell to see all of them. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at The Local Joe. Remember to make every single day a Friday. You can get a shirt. The link will be in the description, along with everything that I skate. So the obvious reason why YUTO won is just that he handled the pressure better than Nyjah did. And that's just a little bit hard to wrap your head around because Nyjah is known for dealing with pressure really, really well. That's what makes him so dominant in contests. Not only that he has a crazy bag of tricks, but that he's just so consistent and puts things down when he needs to. So the question is, what changed about the Olympics that Nyjah wasn't really able to be as dominant or consistent as he normally is? I think personally the main reason is that this meant more to Nyjah than any street league, than any X Games. This was, this is the Olympics. He's grown up skating contests, from a really young age. He's no stranger to contests, but this being the Olympics, I think that made it a whole new thing for Nyjah, at least in his head. I think he's won a ton of street leagues, a ton of X Games, so losing one doesn't seem like that big of a deal to him. Yes, he wants to win it, but realistically, you're not going to win every single one. And so I think that acceptance of the fact that he could lose, but that he wants to win, I feel like that puts him in a sweet spot to really just get in the zone and do his thing. Whereas with this was a whole different pressure than he's ever felt before. There's just kind of like a weird dynamic with the Olympics because as an athlete, you're representing your country, right? But you can't let what other people's expectations are of you and your performance get inside your head, because if those voices get in there, then you won't be able to focus on skateboarding itself. And skateboarding is it's such an instinctive thing in the moment. I can only imagine in contests, if you get distracted by whatever it is or whoever it is, how much of a difference that can make to you actually landing a trick. You cannot be thinking about what anybody else is saying or what the situation is. You have to just be focused on you and your board and doing the trick. I think Nyjah's kind of been desensitized to contests because he's just been doing them for so long. So this is probably the first time in a long time that he's actually felt any pressure to try and win something, because he's just been so dominant and has dealt with the pressure of contests so well. I don't think he has experienced an added bump in pressure, whereas the rest of these guys, they all know that they're going up against a lot of adversity in all the contests. They have to beat Nyjah. But who does Nyjah have to beat? Nyjah just has to beat Nyjah, but in the Olympics, Nyjah didn't just have to beat Nyjah. Nyjah had to show the world that he was capable of representing his country on the biggest stage. I think that's the mental game that was going on. As Olympians, you're representing your country, but your country is not there to do it for you. You ultimately are the one that has to do it. And so you kind of feel this expectation to be thinking about other people and representing the citizens of your country, when in reality, you kind of need to be a little bit more selfish than that. Not that representing your country isn't like a huge honor, but if you're thinking about representing somebody else, that's energy taken away from you flipping your skateboard the way that it needs to flip and executing the way that you need to execute. You can't be thinking about who you're representing. You need to be the best skateboarder that you are. And we saw the pressure affect pretty much everybody. I think every single skater made a silly mistake doing a trick that they normally have on lock, including YUTO Horigome, who completely botched his first 2 runs. However, I do think that botching his 2 first runs was part of the reason that he ended up winning, just because I think you could see a mental shift in YUTO. When he blew those first 2 runs, I think there was probably a moment where he thought, okay, I'm probably gonna lose this. If I don't chill out, I'm definitely gonna lose this. So there's still a chance I can win, but the only chance is to relax and just do my thing. And so I think taking those falls early kind of forced YUTO into a headspace of accepting the fact that he could lose, and made him realize that he just had to relax to be able to win. Whereas with Nyjah landed one of his first 2 runs, and then he landed 1 trick, and he was on his way, and so it seemed like everything was going according to plan until it wasn't. And then when it wasn't, I think the fight or flight started kicking in with Nyjah, and I think he started freaking out a little bit, because all of a sudden he needed to land his last 2 tricks back to back on the Olympic stage, the thing that he wanted more than anything else. And I think just the pressure and the expectations got in his head a little bit. As well, there was like some wind, but I mean, this is Nyjah Huston. He's no stranger to skating in weird conditions. Everybody else was skating the same course at the same time. I think it just came down to, on the day, YUTO Horigome was able to deal with the pressure and skate the way that YUTO skates, whereas Nyjah, I think the pressure got the best of him and he wasn't really able to skate to his own full potential. I think it was just that mental game of him wanting to do it for his country became such a big mental obstacle, or put added pressure, that each time he made any small mistake, I think it shook him a little bit more than it normally would have. But my hat is off to Nyjah Huston, how he handled losing. I know a lot of people think that Nyjah Huston is just a cocky, arrogant prick. I think a lot of that comes from just jealousy for everything that he's done and everything that he's accomplished. But when he lost, he went up to YUTO, gave him a big hug, and said congratulations. And if it was me, I probably would have like snapped my board and just walked off like a little child. That's what I expected him to do. But I think that was me projecting me onto him. I think is a lot classier than people give him credit for. And then for the next 16 hours on social media, he went completely dark. I follow Nyjah Huston on Instagram, and so I was kind of checking in to see like what he was gonna say. And when he wasn't posting anything immediately after the contest, I knew he was probably, you know, super heartbroken, obviously. And yeah, I just really felt bad for Nyjah. You could tell how much he wanted to win the Olympics, how much he wanted to do this, not just for him, but for his country, and what an honor it was for him to represent the United States in the Olympics, and how seriously he took that. Nyjah Huston posted this on his Instagram. He said, "Man, I'm sorry guys, I'm bummed I didn't do better yesterday. I feel like I let a lot of people down. To all my family, friends, fans, and everyone that was rooting for me out there. I love you guys. Big congrats to YUTO and all the boys. Y'all killed it. Getting the chance to skate and represent for my country out there was a true honor. I've had a lot of high moments in my career over the years, but I've also had a lot of some very low ones, and it's something I've always mentally battled and tried to do better at. I'm human, and dealing with all the pressure and expectations really isn't easy at times. I'm also just so competitive, and the downside to that is me being really hard on myself when I don't skate good. Like days after contests, when I just don't want to talk to anyone and replay everything I did wrong over and over, or chugging alcohol in the hotel room by myself after a loss thinking it would make things better. Mental health is so important. I'm going to continue to work on being happier and just be thankful to even be in this position of living my dream and being a professional skateboarder, because when it comes down to it, I don't skate to be the best or to be famous or to make money or to be an Olympian. I skate because I love it and it's the funnest thing on earth." It's tough reading that, knowing just, you know, you'll never know how heartbroken Nyjah Huston is just about this whole situation. You can tell how badly he wanted to win, and it just wasn't his day. Overall though, I do have to say I did not really enjoy watching that contest. I think the pressure of representing your country just got to a lot of the skaters, and they just did not look like they were having a good time. And it's not fun to watch a bunch of people do something that you love and just feel mentally tortured and just watch them go through that. And towards the end, it started to look like they were having some fun. Like Vincent Milou looked like he was having a good time. YUTO looked like he was having a good time towards the end, but I mean, he was like landing everything. You saw Aurélien Giraud just completely lose it. I mean, he qualified first, definitely had a shot at winning it, and he completely just lost it. You could tell he was stressing out of his mind. It just, watching guys go through that kind of stressful mental torture, it wasn't fun for me to watch. Whereas in Street League, I feel like they make it like a good environment where you see them having fun skating, trying to skate their best, and everybody kind of hyping each other up. That's not what this felt like. This felt like everybody was there alone. Kind of, it seemed like they were like a little bit pitted against each other, and they weren't as, you know, supportive of each other in most cases anyways. It just seemed like all of them were so in their own heads, worried about the pressure and representing their country, that it just, yeah, it didn't look fun to me. And I don't want to watch people not have fun skateboard. No matter how good the skateboarding is, it felt a little bit like watching robots skateboard. It wasn't really like a fun feeling. I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are. If you enjoyed watching the Olympics, the skateboarding event in the Olympics, I mean, I'm curious to watch the other events and see if it has that same tense feeling that's just kind of like really heavy, or if the other contests are just going to be like normal contests where it's like fun, good environment, and skaters are just out there having a good time. I'm also curious to know, if you thought this competition, this contest was bad, what would you have done to make it a better environment or make it a better contest? I'm happy for YUTO Horigome. He kind of got his, you know, fairy tale ending, but the contest as a whole just did not feel like skateboarding. And personally, I think that's got to change, or else people aren't going to take skateboarding seriously in the Olympics. At least skateboarders. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but personally, if it feels that tense, I'm probably just going to not watch it in future years, or not want to watch it, but still watch it, because it's like this thing that happens every 4 years. So it's like, you know, it's so rare that you watch it, but maybe you don't even want to watch it, but you watch it because you got to stay up to date, and you know, you're a fan of skateboarding as a whole, and this is kind of like a thing, and so you watch it, but you don't necessarily enjoy the thing itself. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Thanks again for watching. If you want to see more videos, you can subscribe. I post 6 a week. Normally they're not just talking videos. This is kind of rare for me to just talk. Normally I'm like learning tricks and whatnot. So yeah, check back tomorrow for a regular video. Make every single day a Friday, guys, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.